rest and assurance to make sure that we can provide more and more fresh-bodied, fresh eyes to be able to come in and help search for summer whales.
As far as my office, it's been pretty hard because my office don't stop. We're still answering calls, still doing investigations that come in, and we're still running the jail, but I'm alternating the officers out. And like's been said, everyone, the command post been there this week, everyone now is getting mentally, physically, and emotionally just drained.
We didn't know nothing about it until we come back to work the next morning.
You guys' work crew saw some of the morning.
Yeah, I was over there at like 5. That's before you started. No, I worked that outage. When you hit that guy work, that the same day.
So,
it was actually an outage that day. I worked the repairs for the beard. He was one that worked over there all most of the day. I think it was like later part, like after lunch, he was over there.
so you.
Down there past her house, I think she lives on the Ben Hill Road.
Uh-huh.
We were down past it, and there's like a gravel entrance, and we had an incident there, and went up the line back in.
Okay, so
And, they did send us in there, but it was just trying to rush around.
yeah.
So this is some of the area where the tree trimmers were. And these are the areas that they cleared that day. The one guy said that they pulled into like a gravel parking area, drive area. And this is still the Wells property here. I don't know why he said at first they weren't on the Wells property when they were.
This is his old truck and everything. I got his truck. No, he transferred.
That there is a whole group of people that were there that day that nobody talks about. Nobody talks about these people.
Past few days, y'all, it's been rough. Where my muscles and shit ain't working, shit's going real bad. I'm off my medicine, have been for weeks. It's fucked, and I'm fucked currently. But nobody's feeling safe with the situation that's going on. That's how uncomfortable it was the other day. And then also have an entire road full of fucking weird road crew the other day. But I had 2 goddamn dudes drop their pin on purpose, like a chick trying to just get you stuff. You know, like females, we have, I don't care what anybody says, we have that tendency to be like, whoops, I dropped something. And I know it's a 50, 60 thing, you know, whatever, before you to be brazen and out there and be like, hey, why don't you just give me the dick? Why don't you stop asking me out for a date? Now, you know, we don't really do that too much, but we know the drill, right? These guys pulled that shit on me, dropped pins in my car in a place that I couldn't really get them good, where I had to lean over. The entire car was surrounded, I'm not talking about 5, 10, 15, but like 50 men on both sides of my car. It was very fucking strange. And then every day it's been honking. Like this morning, my daughter was sitting there, and they were again honking. And I don't know why. You know, they've got the number to call him, so if anything, you know, because there's certain trees that are not to come down. There's been all kinds of shit going on through there. We're running electric companies to run the main lines again to cut the trees down, right? That's what it is around them. But there's other things going there that are 3 companies in one. It's all fucking bizarre. There's almost like, you know, helicopters aren't going to come down with the chainsaws. These things have been here since his family settled Rogersville. Some of the first settlers in Tennessee. We're not cutting those fucking trees. And so that was that. But I had 2 drop pins in this fucking car. It'd be weird. And I'm on me too when I'm all like, hey, I've been raped, I know what it's like. This shit's getting real weird. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But this shit's like making me sketch. And I'm never sketch, but whatever, right? But it's been a weird few fucking days. But I will tell you, the weirdest shit is over there in fucking Coastal Valley. And I just don't know about that guy. He's fucking trying real hard to be super sketch. But we got all that going on. Kid's 19th birthday. And then, you know, yeah, that's hitting. And then I keep smelling fresh babies. Yeah, don't even look at me. You heard me. But fresh babies are fresh babies. You know, I mean, irradiated currently, and no more babies for me, but too many surgeries couldn't probably help me anyway, and if something's wrong, I'd smother them with a fucking pillow. But definitely, I don't want to have to go through amniocentesis to see what the fuck's wrong, or risks, or whatever, and then abortions and whatnot time after time. Ain't no point in thinking about babies when dying of cancer. But they sure do smell good. Fresh babies. And when I was 8 months old, he still smells fishy. He was a cutie.
For some reason, they seem to be off limits. They're not off limits for me. If you know me, I want to talk about the stuff that nobody else talks about, because the things that everybody has been talking about seem to lead nowhere. They lead to nothing. Nothing. You know, maybe if we look in a different direction, we might find the answers. That's where I'm going with this. If we look in a different direction, we might find some new leads, some new answers in this. The one thing I did want to talk about was in the very beginning of this case, within the first month, they were looking at the racetrack. Does anyone else remember the racetrack? Law enforcement were looking at the racetrack for Summer. And I never understood why they were looking at the racetrack until I started looking at the tree trimmers. And one of the tree trimmers is an avid racer. He's out at the racetrack. He has tons and tons of videos. He's out at that racetrack. There's a reason they were looking there. That guy was a suspect at one time on their list. So law enforcement felt that they had the need to look at the racetrack to see if they found her body somewhere. And somebody made a report about it. Somebody reported about a guy did something to Summer and her body was at the racetrack. I don't know if anyone else remembers this. This was in the very, very beginning of the case. And then to stumble upon this Scott Sanders after I've been looking into these tree trimmers and really looking to him and see that he's not from out of town. These tree trimmers weren't from out of town. If you go in and you look, they're all local. And then the ones that say they're from out of town, they just don't live in Beach Creek. They live in all the little towns around there. It's still all local. It's still local. It's not far. So, these people need to be looked at. I'm going to look at them. I'm going to look at them, and I'm going to try to find out as much information as I can. If anybody else knows me, I'm pretty good at finding out information. I've helped a lot of other people, other creators with finding out information, and I just don't really do that many videos or lives or anything. I'm more of a researcher, and I could build a good video and I can research really well. I'm not very good at it's still local. It's not far. So, these people need to be looked at. I'm going to, but it's actually Kingsport, a Kingsport Electric Company that services 110 Ben Hill Road. So I want to make that clear. And I spoke with the man today, and he actually called me back. I had left a voicemail for him. He returned my call, and I was eating lunch when he called me. So the first couple minutes of the video, I'm stuffing a sandwich in my mouth and finishing my food while he's talking. And I apologize for that. I actually didn't expect him to call me back so soon. I want to play that video now for you guys. And that way you guys can hear actually what he says. And it's quite interesting.
Kingsport, Tennessee for Appalachian Power, and I received a voicemail from your number there just a little bit ago.
Yes. So I was calling because I wanted to find out some information. I had already spoke with the AEP main company, and they said I needed to speak to somebody at a local company.
Okay.
And you guys are, what is the name actually of your company?
It's American Electric Power, but there's different branches of American Electric Power. So like I'm in Kingsport, Tennessee. I'm actually a Kingsport Power company employee.
Okay, so it's not Appalachian?
Well, Appalachian Power covers Virginia and West Virginia. In Tennessee, it's kind of an odd duck. We're in Tennessee. We're under a Kingsport Power company name.
Okay, so do you guys service Rogersville area?
No, ma'am, we do not. That's Holston Electric.
Okay, so I also spoke to Holston Electric, and they said they cut. Well, so do you service out towards Rogersville before it gets to where Holston takes over?
We do butt up with Holston Electric in some areas. What address are you calling for?
110 Ben Hill Road, Rogersville.
Yeah, that's probably us. Yes, ma'am. That's right there, right at the very end of our line.
Right, that's what they said. So yours. So is there? Can you tell if you guys service that address?
Yeah, let me look real quick. I've got you on the phone.
Okay.
At 110, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is there an actual house there, like an account that would be set up there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, sometimes I feel like I had a gentleman call me the other day about some property down there. I was asking if we served it. You said 110, correct?
Yes.
Yes, we do serve that.
Okay. So, what company do you guys use just to maintain those lines? Like if you have an outage?
That could be, well, I mean, depending on what it is. If it's just something for tree trimming, we have Aspen Tree Company, Townsend Tree Company. They do our tree trimming for us. And then, like on normal outages, it would be our crews. It would be our crews out of Kingsport that does it. But if it's something big, like it's a big event, we may call in Davis H. Elliott or possibly Pike, Fair Construction. They could be a multitude of people on a big storm.
Okay, so now if it's not a storm and say like the tree trimmers just down the line, then you guys would just send your linemen out there?
Yes, ma'am. It would be our AEP line. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and do you guys keep archives on down line reports?
We do keep up with outages. We can go back so far. I think it started leaking after about 10 years.
Okay, so in a 2021, you'd be able to look back and see if there was a report of a tree trimmers downing a line, and if you guys sent linemen out there?
You'd be able to. Let's see. If it was called in, now that's another problem. If it wasn't called in by that account holder, then it would be hard to find it. But let me see. Let me see what I can find for you. Usually my nose is around. I'm a snot. Let's see here. Do you have a particular date?
Well, June 15th, the tree trimmers said that they had downed the line out there of 2021, and that they actually had to leave early from trimming around 3:30 because they had to stop working because the line was down. And that they had to wait for a lineman to come out and fix it.
Okay. So at least I'm going to do those 3 days. And that would be... That don't pull up all of that. Okay, so that didn't pull up, so let's get this right. I am not showing anything for, in between June 14th through the 16th of an outage.
Okay. And now if the tree trimmers just hit a line and it didn't actually like cause an outage, they just needed a lineman out there, to help them to remove a tree branch or something, would there be a report on that?
Let me see. Let me go back to the account, see if I can go back anything that far. If they were just like rubbed up against the line or something like that, make the lights blink, I wouldn't imagine that there would have been lines sent out for that.
Or like a branch hanging without it actually causing an outage?
No, that could possibly happen, yes, ma'am. If a branch just like fell on the line, actually didn't knock the power out, that could have happened. Yes, you are correct there.
And then there wouldn't have been a report. You guys don't keep like reports of like when you send people out?
Well, it should have been a trouble call, I would agree, but I looked on that whole circuit, and there's nothing on that whole circuit for during that time frame. Let's see, let's go back to it will not let me.
And the call would have been made for the report actually from the tree trimmers and not from the resident.
Okay.
It would have actually been made by Wolf Tree.
Wolf Tree?
Yes, a Davie expert tree trimming company.
Okay. I will have to talk with them. There's nothing showing up on our outage report, and I don't see any type of order or anything out there. I guess at the end of the day, like what are we trying to do here? Did we damage something? Or?
No. So I am investigating the Summer Wells missing child case, and
okay.
So on that day that she went missing, Wolf Tree was out there on their property, and they said they had an incident that day, and that was the reason they all had to leave early. That there was a downed line. and an outage, and that they had to wait for a crew to come out there to deal with that, and they did not return back out there to that property until the 16th. I was just trying to confirm some of the things that they said, because it was a little odd, some of the stuff they said, and what really was the incident that happened out there at 3:30. If it wasn't a down line, because the family, the residents of 110 Ben Hill Road, said they didn't lose power that day, that they didn't see a down line. But the crew from Wolf Tree is saying that they all had to leave early because of an incident, and the incident was a downed line.
Okay.
But you're not showing any.
I'm not showing any outages now. Down the line, every once in a while we will get stuff like telephone and cable that could possibly may have dropped something on that, and it could have dropped telephone and cable. And if that's the case, we would not see that.
Okay, would that be called an outage?
It would, but not on our system. So you would have to reach out to down there. You would be reaching out to probably CenturyLink.
Mm-hmm.
Or Charter Communications. I think they're Charter Spectrum now. You may reach out to them too. But on my end, if we would have had, if the AEP lineman or one of our electrical contractors would have been out there, we would have had a ticket on it in that time. I'm not showing anything on it.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And what was your name again?
Jesse Sally. I'm the customer service rep here in Kingsport.
Okay, Jesse Sally. Thank you so much. You really helped me a lot with my research.
All right. And then, like I said, the telephone company and cable companies in our area is CenturyLink. Actually, they changed their name now. Hold on just a second. Let me find that for us. I don't tell you wrong. They changed their name just like a month ago.
Now, would you believe that if it was just a cable line or a phone line, that it would be an incident where the crew would have to stop working?
If it was a cable or telephone line, most of the time there's safety rules. Yes, because what has to happen, and I know it sounds crazy, but say they even drop a telephone line or a cable line accidentally, their crew supervisor has to come out. They have to do an investigation because those guys get hammered pretty good for any kind of damage. So I would imagine that if they did drop a telephone line or a cable line or a power line, there has to be an investigation, and I'd say that's probably what's happened more than likely.
Okay, yet you're not finding that, so that means you're not seeing an investigation on your end. Okay. And so who keeps the records on the tree trimmers that you guys hire and the companies? Because it said that was Wolf Tree was the company that was out there that day. So what I was curious about was, would you guys have a report of them leaving early, or why they would have to leave since you guys hired them to do the job out there?
I could possibly find that. Yes, ma'am. It will probably be Monday. The forestry department, they work 410s.
Okay.
So they're off on Fridays. But I can probably reach out to them Friday, and they may have record of it. I'm sure there's paperwork on it somewhere, but a year's worth of paperwork, they may be able to find it. Hopefully, they keep electronic records. I don't deal with the tree companies per se. That would be the forestry department.
You forgot one thing though, the public never lets this go.